today's topic is about writing about tourism and travel. What you have to keep in mind when you are writing about your travels or you're doing a piece on tourism is you have to decide a niche first. It could be food related, it could be adventure related, or it could be sometimes spiritual traveling, and it all depends on what you choose, because in that case you can revolve around that particular subject and speak about it more. One very important thing to know of when you are writing about your travels is geography. And geography, as we know, is it's not that much studied in, especially in Pakistan, but it is very crucial and important for a person who is writing about traveling. For example, the Swiss Canal, some people here may mention that it's in Switzerland or somewhere else, although it's in Egypt. So these are a few things that you have to keep in mind. You have to know your geography, especially the geography of Pakistan, because nowadays tourism in Pakistan is also getting a boost. There are so many things you can keep in mind while writing about travel and tourism in Pakistan, things that people are not aware of. For example, between North and South Waziristan there is a place called Razmak where it rains every afternoon. Razmak, where it rains every afternoon, it's quite beautiful, and it snows November to February. And if you have some tourists from Europe side or cold areas, they would be mostly interested in places which are cold, such as Kagan and Naran, and you can direct them towards those areas and they will appreciate it more. Another thing that you have to keep in mind while you're writing about tourism is that you have to do a lot of research before you go to the place. So you will do a lot of reading. That will be books based, blogs based, website based, a lot of article research about the place. For example, you should know what time is their working hours, what time are their working hours. For example, you may go and decide to go to the mall, or you want to direct people to go to the mall at a certain time, and you will find out that the malls are closed at a certain time and you didn't mention that. For example, Europe side, when you go to Paris, at least till last year, all their malls and everything were closing by 6 p.m. So we were done with our sightseeing and we decided to go to the mall, and it was closed. So you have to know all of these things and you have to mention them. When you do your research, you should also keep in mind which places to visit. You're going to mention the top places to visit, and then you should also mention some places which are not very, not that popular with tourists, but they are popular with locals. That is where you can get an edge, because you can mention something that nobody else has mentioned before. So that's where your own traveling comes handy. When you go and you research the place, talk to people, learn about the place from a local's point of view. Local tour guides are helpful in that case, and so are your hotel concierge or anybody else you may strike up a conversation with while in a train or a bus. Another thing that you can keep in mind is that you should have your own page to showcase your own travels and writing. For example, these days websites are very handy in showing your work. You can use GoDaddy.com. It's quite simple and user-friendly, or you could pay somebody to make you a website. You may start off with a simple Facebook page or an Instagram page, and that can also really help in setting you apart from the rest, because when you go to somebody and showcase your work or talk about your work, you should have something where you have things written down and you can show. So that is very important to do. It's also quite useful to know more than one language. This way you can sort of talk with more people, and also you can interact with more people, with your customers and your clients, and it also has an impressive factor. If you do not know more than one language, you can at least, what you can do these days is you can just learn maybe a sentence or two from a couple of languages, especially the ones you like to write about. What that does is it sort of breaks a barrier when you're talking to someone from outside, or you're trying to tell somebody about something from outside. Also, when you're traveling, it's very interesting to note the architecture of the place. Don't think about it from the point of view that, oh, this is a religious site and I don't want to go there because it's not my religion, because most architecture will be found in churches or mosques. I know some people who are traveling from foreign countries to Turkey, and they came back, and Turkey is such a beautiful place, but they came back and they said that, oh, I didn't know where to go, there were only mosques there. And I said to them that that's where all the history is, so you have to be able to go there and appreciate it for its beauty and its history. The same way I came across a couple who went to Europe and came back and said that, oh, there were only churches there. And I was just looking at them, because Europe has such beautiful architecture, and the architecture is mostly in churches. So you have to have an open mind, and you have to appreciate everything for what it is and appreciate the history. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is history. When you're going to some place or telling somebody about some place, you must know a little bit about the history of that place. For example, when it all started, who they fought with, what type of food they like, what type of history they have. So these are all very important things you can talk about and write about when you're writing about travels. Tourists from Europe can also be attracted to a variety of fish that is found in Pakistan, especially Sindh and Balochistan. Spanish mackerel, pomfret, sole. These are things that really attract foreigners, especially in the food area, which is also quite interesting, because whenever you're writing about travel, there will be some point where you will be writing about food. It does interest people to be trying out something local. You can also talk to them about going into a supermarket and just looking at the way people are interacting or the things people are buying, and you can write about that. One more thing you can keep in mind while writing is you can choose places that are not that much talked about. This is a tricky area, because you may write about something nobody's interested in, or you may write about something that will spark an interest. So you have to be a little bit careful if you're choosing some place to travel to or write about which is not that much known. Lastly, what I think is important in nowadays age is good pictures. So it always sets you apart if your travel writing has good pictures put up with it. You can invest in a good camera. It's a one-time investment, and it will last you for a good long time. These days you can buy a camera and use it for your traveling, and it will last you a long time. These pictures will speak volumes about your travel, because as they say, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So when you have nice pictures to go with the places you have visited and you are writing about it, especially on your website or your Facebook or your Instagram, people are more impressed. People can put a picture to what you have written, and it really does take your writing to another step. And this is how you can set yourself apart from others when you are writing about tourism and travel. If you have any questions, please feel free to question us, write to us, and we will be happy to write back.